Hey there. You ready to dive into some iManage imports?
Always up for a good data migration deep dive.
We're looking at MacroAgility's Import Master,
Hmm.
this tool that promises to make moving your documents a breeze.
Painless iManage migration.
That's the claim, right?
That's a bold claim.
So you've given us some info on Import Master, and, we're here to figure out if it lives up to the hype.
Let's dig in.
What can you tell us about MacroAgility?
Well, they are all about iManage,
So,
implementations, training, custom
what's
solutions.
laser focused?
They live and breathe this stuff.
Okay.
So when they say they've got a tool that's going to simplify your iManage imports,
Yeah,
it's worth looking into.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
And inventive customized solutions is right there in their mission statement. So let's talk about Import Master.
Okay.
They say it's supposed to smooth out document migration.
Right.
But isn't that what they all say?
They do.
Every software company.
They do. But
Yeah.
here's where it gets interesting.
Right.
Imagine you're onboarding a new team.
Okay.
Or maybe your company just swallowed up another one.
Big influx of files.
Huge influx of files, right?
Right.
Import Master says it'll move all those documents and folders into iManage without making a mess.
Okay. So it's not just dumping files into the void.
Oh, no.
It actually helps keep your stuff organized.
Exactly. They really emphasize their flexible import options.
Okay.
Like, let's say you want a clean slate in iManage.
Okay.
You can import just the documents and start fresh with your folders. Or maybe you need to keep all those departments, years, and client names, all that structure.
Right.
You can do that too.
Oh, okay.
They even let you pick and choose which parts of that structure you want to bring over.
Okay.
It's about control.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got sensitive information and you need that audit trail.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't want to lose track of where things came from.
Right, right. And speaking of avoiding disasters,
Yeah.
let's talk about this rollback job feature for a sec, because this is interesting.
Okay.
Think of it like a giant undo button for your whole migration.
Oh, okay.
Accidentally delete a folder.
Oops.
No problem. Just roll it back.
That sounds like a lifesaver,
It is.
especially when you're talking about potentially thousands of documents.
Exactly. You're not digging through the digital trash bin hoping you can recover something.
Right.
And, speaking of hiccups, they've also got this retry error
Yeah.
feature,
Yep.
which seems really useful.
So what does that do?
Let's say you're in the middle of this massive upload
Right.
and the network connection drops.
It happened.
It always happens at the worst time.
Of course.
Import Master will just pick up where it left off once you're back online.
Oh, okay. So it's like it pauses it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Instead of making you start the whole thing over.
So they've got you covered for human error and for those like tech glitches.
Exactly.
Right.
They're trying to take the pain out of iManage migrations.
Okay. So we've got the organized part down.
Right.
We've got the what if something goes wrong part down.
Right.
But what about speed?
Ah,
Because migrating lots of data can take forever.
it can, but this is where it gets a little technical.
Okay.
But they have this feature that lets you adjust the thread count. Thread count
Yeah.
for faster import.
Like threads in a t-shirt.
Not exactly.
Okay.
Think of it like this. You're opening more lanes on a highway for your data.
So instead of one car moving along,
Yeah.
you've got like a whole caravan.
Exactly.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that Speed Boost is really helpful for large organizations.
Absolutely. Especially for those big migrations we're talking about, maybe even saving days.
Wow. Okay, so we're talking about like real-time savers here.
Absolutely.
But okay, so we've got speed covered.
Right.
But what about compatibility?
Sure.
Because, we all know iManage can be
Oh, yeah.
a little bit of a beast sometimes.
It can be a beast.
So can Import Master handle all the different ways people might be using iManage?
This is where that API certification comes in.
Okay, API certification.
All right.
Sounds a little intimidating.
It sounds a lot more complicated than it is.
Okay.
Think of it like the iManage Universal API is like a language.
Yeah.
It lets different software talk to each other.
Okay, so Import Master speaks iManage.
Exactly. And that certification means that MacroAgility's proven that Import Master speaks it fluently.
Oh, okay. So no, like, lost in translation issues.
Exactly. It's like, knowing your phone charger is going to work with your phone,
Right.
not some knockoff that's going to fry your circuits.
Please now.
You've got that peace of mind knowing that everything's going to integrate seamlessly.
That's huge, especially for companies that have, like, really complex IT setups.
Yep.
Nobody wants to be dealing with software conflicts on top of everything else.
Exactly. And speaking of complexity,
Okay.
how does Import Master handle permissions?
Okay, yeah,
Wow.
because you don't want just anybody
Right.
having access to sensitive files once they're in iManage.
Exactly. So imagine you're migrating files from, your legal team or your finance team.
Right.
You don't want just anyone peeking at those documents.
No, absolutely not.
That's where this custom authorization management comes in.
Okay, so it's like setting those permissions on your Google Drive or something.
Exactly. You get to decide who sees what.
Okay,
You can choose to just bring those permissions over from where the files were originally stored,
okay.
or you can set everything up manually inside of iManage.
So if I'm coming from like an old system,
Right.
I don't have to start from scratch?
You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just map those existing permissions over to iManage.
Okay, that's really good to know because that seems like it would be a huge time suck.
Exactly. And speaking of making things easier,
Yes, please.
they've really tried to make Import Master user-friendly.
Okay, because they say it's designed for everyone, not just tech people.
Right. And they've put a lot of work into that interface.
Okay.
It's all drag and drop, clear instructions, that kind of thing.
Oh, that's nice.
They even have a bunch of support materials like videos and tutorials.
Oh, wow. Okay, so even if you run into a problem, you can figure it out.
Exactly. You're not left stranded.
That's really important.
Because even the best tool in the world, useless if no one can figure out how to use it.
Exactly.
And to make things even smoother, you've got a lot of control over what you actually import. You don't have to take everything from a folder if you don't need to.
Oh, okay.
So you can be picky.
So you can just take what you need.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is all starting to sound pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But are there any downsides?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah,
No software is perfect,
Right.
right?
you're right.
There are always trade-offs.
So are we talking like potential deal breakers or?
I think more like things to keep in mind.
Right.
From what we've seen, Import Master seems pretty solid.
Okay.
Like they highlight all these features for dealing with problems.
Right, like the rollback job and the retry error.
Exactly. They're clearly thinking about data integrity,
Okay.
but the real test is always going to be how it works with your data.
It's like they say, your mileage may vary.
Exactly. Every organization's different. And that's why you've got to look beyond the marketing stuff.
Yeah.
Look for case studies, testimonials from companies like yours.
Oh.
See how Import Master handles things in the real world.
Because anyone can make a flashy brochure.
Exactly. Real user experiences are way more valuable.
So true.
And that brings up something else that's super important.
What's that?
User adoption.
You mean like, what's the point of having the best tool
Exactly.
if nobody uses it?
They've really focused on making Import Master user-friendly.
Okay.
It's not just for the techies.
Which I appreciate.
They want everyone in the organization to be comfortable with it.
So no more dreading those mass imports.
Hopefully not.
Because you know it's going to be an IT project that takes all week.
Exactly. And that kind of user-friendliness can be a game changer.
Especially for companies that are trying to get everyone on board with new systems.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's wrap this up.
Okay.
We've talked about structure, reliability, speed, compatibility, security.
It's a lot.
We even talked about how easy it is to use.
Right, because it all matters.
So what are your final thoughts?
To me, it seems like Import Master really does try to make iManage migrations easier.
Okay.
They've clearly thought about the pain points and built solutions.
Yeah.
The big question is how well it scales to what you need.
It's like they gave you the tools to build a house,
Right.
but the final result depends on your foundation.
Exactly. So, as you explore Import Master further, think about your organization.
Okay.
How does it fit with what you're already doing?
Right.
What are your biggest challenges? And can Import Master actually solve them?
Those are great questions.
They are the important ones.
It's giving you the overview, the deep dive. Now it's up to you.
Take this information and see how it applies to your world.
Until next time.